Okay, here is your Bitcoin Cash update. You have been asking in the comment section for an update on Bitcoin Cash. So here it is with a general buy level where you could buy into Bitcoin Cash. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin Cash chart. And just a reminder, I am the first one who has predicted the incredible bullishness long term for Bitcoin Cash. My prediction since it came out in 2017 is that it will eventually overtake Bitcoin. It will be more valuable than Bitcoin. It will be used like cash. I have more specifics in the Bitcoin Cash channeled message, which is on my website under Bitcoin Cash. And it goes into where it will be used and how the adoption will happen. But without further ado, let's take a look at the Bitcoin Cash chart. Also, well, I'll come back to this other idea at the end, but so stay tuned to the end because I have another thought about the market and where we're headed here in the next few months as we round out 2025. So don't leave, stay to the end. All right, let's take a look at the chart. Okay, so here's the chart for BCH, Bitcoin Cash. This is one of the most bullish charts in all of crypto, one of the most bullish charts in any investment anywhere. It's been in a very long upward channel, as you can see, since April of 2025. And this has been going up, right? And we have an uptrend, a really strong uptrend on Bitcoin Cash. What you see here are, here's a high, here's another high which is higher, here's another high which is higher, another high that is higher, higher high, higher high, higher high, and then all of the pullbacks, low, well, this would be like the first one, a low, and then this next pullback is a higher low, and then here's a higher low and a higher low, and a higher low and a higher low, and here we got a slightly lower low, but and are we making higher highs? We seem to be moving sideways here and not in quite as upward of a trend. So the uptrend kind of switched here, and here we got a slightly lower low, but a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. That is all bullish. That is a bull trend. We've been in a long-term bull trend for many months. Now it's kind of making a sideways move and potentially could come to a correction. Okay, so I'm going to give you some basic technical analysis levels where you could buy in. First level, of course, is here at 581. Okay, now the long-term, all-time high for Bitcoin Cash is around $4,000. So I absolutely expect that we will get back to $4,000. Of course, I'm not giving financial advice, but my expectation is that we will get there by the end of this year. Okay, so I do expect to see $4,000 Bitcoin Cash sooner than later. And so here I wanted to show you the long-term overview of the chart and what I've been telling members for a long time about it, which is, of course, always with crypto, enter the trade when the price is low, right? So down here, over here was really the time. And in fact, when I brought it up, it moved everything, but it was over here. Okay, so and this is in my trading course. Actually, I talk about Bitcoin Cash. So essentially, this was your prime buy opportunity, obviously, because it was low. However, we've made some significant moves up, but down here we were 100 in the low hundreds. So here's the all-time high. What it shows on this chart is like 1600, which is actually not showing the full move that happened in, this is May 21. The all-time high happened, it's not on here, but it happened a few years earlier. I believe it was 2018 when it went up to $4,000. That is and it was a Thanksgiving weekend. So that is the all-time high on Bitcoin Cash. So where could we buy back in? That is, I think, what we are looking at here is where is a good spot to buy. And of course, some of this is just technical, how you look for levels on a technical level. So this right here is a significant level. Okay, so that would probably be a first buy opportunity, but we can certainly come down to here too, just above 400, 406 would be to me a really good place to get in here before the end of the year. However, my, I guess I'll draw another line on it there, 406. Let's see, 40, where is it? There. So those would be the two, and probably you could layer in some orders at both places. That would be how I would do it. But on the longer term picture, I want to give you a little heads up on what I see coming. So the longer term thing that I am seeing is going to happen, which I have been preparing members for, I talked about it in the pro call last Friday, is that there is likely to be some kind of a flash crash on the market sometime in the next 2 months. Why? Why would there be a flash crash? Because generally, overall, I expect us to be bullish for some months here, potentially going all the way into next year. I'm not sure about that yet. But the flash crash would be an insider move in order to crash the market, scare everyone out, get the weak hands to sell to them cheap so they could buy things at a steep discount before allowing the market to shoot up to some really higher levels as the year rounds out, okay? So there's going to be some extreme volatility in the next few months. So I do have deep low targets for Bitcoin Cash in the members area for members. I spoke about it on the call on Friday. So all the old calls are available to you when you become a member. So of course, my membership here is auraright.media. I have low flash crash levels for Bitcoin Cash and one other coin. That's all I have, because I feel like this flash crash and everything would go with it, but I have a time frame when it is likely, when it could happen here soon in the near term future. Okay, so I'll give time frame, I give some lows, and then during that time frame you could buy anything that you want because it's all gonna be going low. So that would be the long-term thing that I'm seeing. And of course you can get that information at auraright.media. Don't forget, I called the COVID crash by date. Okay, I did that in 2020. I predicted COVID. I said there was something horrible happening everywhere in the world in February of 2020, okay? So I've been really accurate. So go check my site out. If you want that information, that will be available to you. I'm sure if you've been in the market long enough, you understand there are a lot of games and shenanigans that are played with this market in order to manipulate it, right? In order for the the powers that should not be and the powers that were, they're about to end, in order for them to scoop up as much as they can. At your expense, at the expense of the weak hands in the market. So this is going to change. They're going to lose control over the market. They're going to lose control over their manipulations. And we are headed into the time frames when that's going to happen. So things are going to get very wild and very volatile over the next 12 to 18 months. But this next also couple of weeks, we're going to have some very big events happening in the